Good day, everybody. This is some guy named Rob, and I'm back with yet another predictions video, this time for WWE Elimination Chamber 2018, emanating from Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, of course, because the pay-per-view starts in mere minutes or has already happened by the time you're watching this video, who knows when and where you will be when this video goes live or when you are watching it. I'm a little late on the mark to upload anything with regards to how I would fantasy book this particular pay-per-view, especially with regards to the women's division, which is very much a factor in the pay-per-view for tonight. Obviously um, there's obviously the women's elimination chamber match will determine who the Raw Women's Champion will be. And of course, there is the special stipulation in the Nia Jax Asuka match to determine whether or not it will be a one-on-one match or a triple threat match at WrestleMania. And there's also one more little thing that has to do with the women's division, a little certain something, the minor matter of signing Ronda Rousey to a Raw contract. So there's that. So first things first is I'm going to apologize if the audio quality is a little bit rough. It's been something of a strange week, and there hasn't been a whole lot of quiet time for me to sit down and record. I still don't have my recording setup really finalized compared to what I used to have. I'm working on that. So hopefully the audio quality is going to get better over the course of the next couple of videos, but for now I'm using my backup headset that I don't normally use. I normally use a much better microphone. So until I get all that sorted out, again, apologies for rough audio quality. I'm also cutting it very close. It is now 25 past 5 in the evening or late afternoon, depending on how you look at it on the day of the pay-per-view. So I don't really have a whole lot of time to clean up the audio. I'm going to do a basic noise reduction and all that. But if you get little clicks and pops and like breathing noises here and there for me catching my breath, I'm going to apologize in advance. I don't have the time to really tweak the audio the way I would love to because I want to get this video out before the pay-per-view actually starts. Okay, so enough rambling. Let's get to the actual pay-per-view matches. I'm going to skip the pre-show because the pre-show can change at a moment's notice and things can be added or subtracted. It's supposed to be Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus The Miztourage. I don't see the Miztourage having much of a chance in a match like that, but you never know what kind of stipulations are going to be added at the last possible second, so I'm just going to skip over that. Let's just call it a Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson win. We start off the show with Woken Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt. Woken, yeah, I'm not a big fan of this gimmick. I'm not going to lie. I'm less of a fan of the fact that they choose to focus on that really, really stupid laugh of his as sort of the main selling point of his gimmick. It's annoying. It reminds me of the sort of pre-cry whining stage that my 4-year-old has before he's about to throw a tantrum. I could record that one day and play it back to back against, Matt Hardy's laugh, and you'll see exactly what I mean. It just doesn't do it for me. I also find his accents absolutely ridiculous. I I can see where people would like the concept. It actually makes Matt Hardy somewhat interesting, but yeah, not sold on it. Bray Wyatt is a guy that I've really liked for a very, very long time. I don't know why they don't believe in him. He was way over last year when he won the WWE title at Elimination Chamber. And since then, he's kind of fallen off the radar. He lost the title to Randy Orton, had a really, really bad House of Horrors match that I think might have hurt his career quite a bit. So this is supposed to be the blow-off match of the feud at the pay-per-view. A lot of people are thinking that this is going to be where Jeff Hardy comes back as Brother Nero or Brother Zero. Who knows what the hell they're going to call him. And I'm kind of hoping not. I'm actually hoping that something that Lee and I had spoken about a little while back actually comes to fruition. Lee and I had a little bit of a discussion about the tag team division, in the WWE and specifically on Raw. And he came up with the idea that it would be really cool if Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy actually kind of joined forces the way it looked like they were doing at the Royal Rumble. And to me, that makes a lot of sense, and it's a really good idea. It reminds me of the old Cactus Jack Kevin Sullivan team back in WCW, where it was just two guys who didn't get along, kind of hated each other's guts, but they somehow functioned as a tag team and actually managed to win a championship. I think that this could be a very cool little angle for those two guys to go down. I don't see it happening. Uh, Not really sure how they're going to book this one. They had Matt lose on the 25th anniversary Raw show, so they're a big fan of the 50-50 booking. They're probably going to give this one to Matt Hardy over Bray Wyatt, and that's what I'm picking. I'm going to pick Matt Hardy over Bray Wyatt with a potential return of Jeff Hardy, aka Brother Nero. Next up, and in no particular order, or I should say next up, although this is in no particular order, is going to be Asuka versus Nia Jax, with the stipulation that if Nia Jax wins the match, she will be added to the main event for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania 34. I don't particularly like this scenario because it opens up two possibilities that don't really make a whole lot of sense. The first possibility is that Asuka beats Nia Jax. It's a clean win. Jax is out of a dance partner for WrestleMania. There's no real feud that she has going on, although there is room for that. I'll get to that in just a little bit. Um, the second scenario is even worse. The second scenario is they take Asuka's 2.5 year winning streak, that they've done the whole Raw Oscars by the numbers win streak of, the 510 days of NXT, 2.5 years of not being pinned or made to submit in the WWE, and you ended at a B show, which I think is really dumb. It's not a smart move. That's the type of thing that you would save for one of your big four. You save it for a WrestleMania. You save it for a SummerSlam. You save it for a Survivor Series. You save that for a Royal Rumble. Um, Having all of that build up for Asuka and the big promo package only to throw it away at a B show makes no sense to me. Uh, but if you still really want Nia Jax in the main event, here's how you can do it. And this is how I would do it. And this is what I kind of hope happens. I hope they do something really interesting with this. You can have a double countout or double disqualification finish on the outside of the ring, because then you can come into Monday Night Raw. Nia Jax will have a legitimate point that Asuka never beat her. And because of that, she deserves to be added as part of the match. Now, again, this is something that I would like to see. I don't think this is actually what's going to happen. What I think is actually going to happen is you're going to have sort of the general rule of WWE booking where whoever looks really good on the going home show before the pay-per-view is going to lose. Nia Jax has looked incredibly dominant in the last couple of weeks on TV. She took out Sasha Banks. She took out Bayley after their match in San Jose. She beat the living snot out of Asuka on TV this past Monday night. She walked away looking amazing and dominant and brutal and just like an absolute terror. So that usually indicates that she's going to lose. So I'm predicting that Asuka will win. It's going to be something of a close match. It's going to be a very physical match, but I think in the end, she's going to make Nia Jax tap and move on to WrestleMania as a singles match for the Raw Women's Championship. Next up, we have The Bar defending their Raw Tag Team titles against Titus Worldwide. And this match has a lot of potential for it has more potential for interesting storylines than I think people give it credit for, but not necessarily because of the wrestlers, but more because of Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke was left off the poster for the Royal Rumble. She mentioned that on Twitter. She was not added to the Elimination Chamber at all. She wasn't considered for Elimination Chamber. She I think is the only active woman participant on the roster who's not wrestling, and I don't think she's injured. Uh, so what that leaves you with is there's a potential for this actually in storyline bothering her to the point where she gets distracted and it ends up playing as a factor in the match. We'll have to see. Other than that, Titus Worldwide has had the bar's number on a number of occasions in non-title matches and non-title scenarios. They've pulled off, I think, 3 upset wins over the champs now. I don't see it happening again, not yet anyway. I think the bar retains. Especially since they just got their titles back at the Royal Rumble, I don't think they're going to drop them quite this quickly. They may take this to WrestleMania before they drop their belts. Now, with that said, look for Dana Brooke to possibly be a factor in the match. You'll know if she will be, if there's any kind of backstage promo with her showing kind of any kind of frustration or distraction with not being a part of the whole women's revolution and just sort of being relegated to the statistician bit of Titus Worldwide. We'll have to see how it plays out, but I'm still going to predict the bar are going to retain. It's probably going to be a dirty win, but I think they're still going to retain. I'll take it one step further and I'll predict that the bar will eventually drop the belts, but it's probably going to be at WrestleMania and it's more than likely going to be in something like a fatal 4-way. This, of course, brings us to our double main event. We'll start with the ladies as champion Alexa Bliss takes on Bayley, Mandy Rose, Mickie James, Sasha Banks, and Sonya Deville for the Raw Women's Championship. This, again, has a lot of possibility for good storytelling. One of the things that everybody seems to be predicting is that Sasha Banks is going to finally turn heel and that she is going to, walk out as the champion and go on to face Asuka at WrestleMania. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not sure if they're going to turn her heel because she doesn't really need it. She also doesn't really need the win. She doesn't need the title. We know that she's a former, I think, 4-time women's champion. Doesn't really need the rub that badly. She's very over with the fans. So who knows? I don't know if she needs this win as much as some of the others. Mickie James, I don't see her having that 7th title run to tie Trish Stratus for all-time, most title reigns in WWE. Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, no. No, way too early to put them into the main event picture. Uh, they're there to make whoever wins look better. They will be the triumph over adversity part of the triumph over adversity, if that makes any sense. And if it doesn't, just keep listening to that one spot over and over again until it does. But they're basically there as kind of cannon fodder to make whoever wins look better. To say that, they beat all these people to walk out as the champion. One thing I would really like to see, though, and this is just me, maybe it's just me, I would really love to see Bayley be the one that turns heel. And even better, I'd like to see Bayley turn heel and join Absolution. This, I think, would be amazing, especially if she wins the title, walks into WrestleMania, because then it would be Bayley with Absolution against Asuka, and again, lots of interesting storyline possibilities. I'm actually a little bit at a loss with this one This one I think is one of the least predictable matches of the night, surprisingly enough. I don't know if they're going to keep the title on Alexa Bliss. She's had it for quite some time. She's very over. She could use the win because she hasn't had a title defense in a while. And there's a part of me that thinks that she's going to eke out a win somehow. Probably dirty, most definitely dirty. I don't see them turning her face anytime soon. Um, so this is kind of a coin toss. I'm gonna call it a coin flip between Alexa Bliss and Bailey. Um, but Bailey would only walk out as a champion if she turns heel. That's the only way I see her walking out as champion. So we move from the least predictable match of the night to what I think is going to be the most predictable match of the night. I don't see them doing anything other than giving Roman Reigns the win on this one. And again, I'm going to go by the rule of the going home show. Roman Reigns was the first to lose the gauntlet match. He lost clean, and he was first to go. So he needs a little something to get his heat back. Rollins is not going to win this because he was the man of the match. He was the Iron Man, was in there for over an hour or right about an hour. I think he was in there for like 62 minutes or something like that, which is like a Raw record. So there's that. He's not going to win. Finn Balor, who needs this more than anybody else, will not win, which is sad because I think what would be really great would be to have Finn Balor win, and then I would have him, it's already been said that Brock Lesnar will face the number one contender the next night on Raw. Have Finn Balor in the ring facing Brock Lesnar, and Brock just absolutely levels him, takes him out completely, pillar to post, destroys him, Suplex City, just completely annihilates Finn Balor. So that way, we can have the Demon King Finn Balor versus the Beast, the Beast versus the Demon at WrestleMania. I think that would be kind of cool. I think that would be a really good spectacle, be really over with the fans. And that's why it's not going to happen. They want Roman Reigns to be the man. They want him to be the face of WWE. They've been pushing this guy forever. So yeah, it's almost depressing in a way. And even more depressing is I can actually see the WWE having the balls to have the last two be Roman Reigns and a guy like Finn Balor who is super over, even though the company doesn't think he's over, and have Reigns absolutely crush him as the final elimination in the chamber to win the match. I can see it happening. I really can. Obviously, we know Big Match John is not going to win. I would, because he has this narrative of having to get to WrestleMania at all costs. So him losing this match would further kind of push him down that road of narrative. And I think there could be one last interesting storyline for him in that if they decide to actually pull the trigger with the story. Braun Strowman again looked way too strong on Raw on the going home show, so guaranteed he is not going to be winning. He did the whole base smash on Elias. He did the destroying of the Miz and the Miztourage in the gauntlet match. He looks way too big, way too strong, way too dominant. He's way too over with the crowd. He has way too much personality. He is everything that the WWE Universe wants to see in a fighting champion who's actually going to defend their title. Not going to happen. So, yeah, kind of by default, it's going to be Roman Reigns because The Miz already has the IC belt, and they're going to work a program in where he loses the IC belt, gets it back to Ty Jericho, etc., etc. So there's that. Now, the one thing that I didn't really touch on was, of course, the official Raw contract signing of Ronda Rousey. You know how this is going to go. This is a kayfabe contract signing. There's going to be the table in the ring. There's going to be Ronda Rousey. There's going to be Stephanie McMahon, possibly Triple H. one of two things is going to happen, uh, in in my estimation. Either she's going to challenge Stephanie to some sort of match at Mania, and it turns into like a mixed tag of Triple H and Stephanie um, versus Ronda Rousey and a partner of her choosing, maybe The Rock, maybe Braun Strowman, who knows what they're going to do there. Or Dana Brooke might come out and feel that she's being slighted, she's being looked over for this newcomer who hasn't proven herself, and Dana Brooke will be fed like cannon fodder to Ronda Rousey to put her over for her initial match, maybe the next night on Raw. So yeah, like I said, it's a kayfabe contract signing. Something's gonna happen. Not really sure what. This is one of those segments I'm not particularly interested in, although I might get more interested in it once it actually happens to see what they're going to do with the initial booking of Ronda Rousey. So that pretty much covers the show for Elimination Chamber 2018. We're going to have to see how many of my predictions are correct, how many are incorrect. Maybe I'm way off base. Maybe the WWE will pull out some surprises. I'm not really counting on it, um, but we'll have to see. Went 4 for 6 on the Royal Rumble for Lee and I. We were pretty much on the same page. Haven't spoken much with him about this particular pay per view, but one thing we will be doing is prior to Fastlane, we will be starting up a new channel where both of us can upload videos. So even if we're not watching the pay-per-views together, we can each upload our own predictions, maybe keep a little tally, maybe do reviews of pay-per-views, sort of recaps, and what have you. So that's something that's coming down the line. Look for that coming out before Fastlane. In the meantime, this is some guy named Rob. Hope you enjoy the pay-per-view. We'll see you in the next video.